guys, it's your girl, Noah Bensi, and I am back with a very long-awaited video. I asked you guys about a little over a month ago when I posted my Black Lives Matter video and everything. What are some changes that you guys want to see? What are some things that you want to see go down from this in the adult industry itself? Hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Noah Bensi. I have been a cam model for a very, very long time now. I post videos about the adult industry, cam modeling, adult work in general, tips and tricks and branding and all that fun stuff. You can find it all on my page. But today, like I just said, we're going to talk about something I just wanted an open conversation that I literally was like, comment below. So we're going to get into that right now. So I'm going to be looking at my phone for a lot of this. I'm also going to be putting up the tweet that I'm responding to on the side, so you can like read it for yourself, but I have to read it on here. Some of these are just going to be read as just like true statements. I don't really have much to comment on it because I completely agree. I want to, like I said, make this an open conversation, even here, even in the comments. So be careful what you say. Go into this with an open mind and an open heart. But definitely feel free to respond to any of these tweets on what you think should change or happen, what you're doing. I also feel like this video is kind of good to post now, even though it wasn't intentional to post it this late, because it's already been like a few months into this movement now. So it's like, what have we been doing? What have we been thinking about? What conclusions, what answers have we come up with in this time period? This is not close to being over, this movement and this work that needs to be done. This will be a long time. So this is just the beginning of a very deep but open conversation. I'm going to start with the first comment from Miss. If I say anyone's like names wrong, I apologize. Well, let me double check her name because I feel bad. Miss Kiza. Again, I'm going to put up everybody's tweets. I apologize. She said, more representation, get rid of race play, get rid of abuse in the mainstream, have more diversity than cis men on sets, more opportunities, especially for Black sex workers. This is definitely one that I just completely agree with. That's just like an agreement statement. For those of you who haven't seen my video about the problems with the adult industry regarding race, I will put that video up here right now. You might want to go watch that first and then come back and hear some of these comments and stuff about it and get more into the conversation. The only thing I do want to comment on is when I have people that aren't in the adult industry watch my videos. They seem very shocked and not shocked to realize the amount of, I don't know how to put this lightly, so trigger warning, of abuse that goes down in the industry itself. So I wouldn't say this industry was super, super abusive and ridiculous. Not everyone is a predator. It's not sleazy, like on that level. But in a big but, there has been a lot of issues with producers, other talent, and stuff taking advantage of people in a sexual way. It is very unfortunate. It is very scary. It feels very unexpected, and I know that there are outside people that are like, well, you're in sex work. What do you know? Because you're on a set and you feel professional. You feel like you're in a professional environment, and for these things to happen is devastating, shocking, and just all around awful. And for a lot of the crimes that are committed behind the scenes, they are completely ignored by people that have attitudes similarly to like, well, you're on sex work, what do you expect, kind of thing. Who do you go to when that's someone's attitude? Who do you seek help from? What if the person is super respected or famous or anything along those lines, and you just feel like if you talk about it, you're not going to get work, or you're not going to have enough people standing behind you? And it has brought a lot of people out of the woodwork, a lot of shamers, and just, it's been a very crazy ride. There has been a lot of Me Too movement situations going on within the industry, and people defending the violators, and it's been a lot. I'm not going to get into it too much on this channel because first of all, it's not my stories to tell, but it's also very all over the place. So like if you go on Twitter, if you read AVN magazine, XBiz magazines, things like that, you're going to see articles and people talk about it and girls talk about it. The videos, the stories that I've seen and heard are heartbreaking. A few have made me literally break down and cry. So I will give you like that warning. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. And that's something that definitely needs to be fixed. I use that word in an exasperated way because it's like, how are you necessarily going to fix it? I think there just really needs to be a better support system in place and a better way of reporting these situations and having actual repercussions for these people who do these things. They shouldn't be in the business anymore. They shouldn't be around people anymore. I don't care if they're like the top producer of the top company. If they're hurting people and hurting their talents, then they shouldn't be here. Like, we need to put a foot down. We need to be way more united. And it's upsetting because I don't know how that's going to come about. There's so many people that are defending these predators, and it's really sad and confusing, and there's a lot of victim blaming. So I don't know what the remedy is for that, but it's definitely something to think about and try to find a way to build these better systems. So I'm going to move on to the next Twitter response. This one is from Toya. She said to have more representation as well of not just mixed but all shades from light to dark, as well as higher paid for all interracial, and to promote Black women and women of color equally in the way they do with YT girls? I assume she means like mainstream, like, anyway. Eliminate race play, eliminate victims of sex trafficking, and be respectful. Again, I 100% agree. I said this in my video about this whole adult industry issue, that being forced into like some type of tokenism to fill a quota is definitely not only pitting us as adult models of color against each other in a way, because we're all competing for like these tiny little niches of roles that it's ridiculous, and definitely needs to be eliminated. And I got a really mean comment from this guy who was just so rude. I don't even want to like put up his comment. I don't even want to give him the time of day. I literally deleted it because it was vile. obviously he has issues and he's a racist. But one of the biggest issues with this industry is this: you gotta just do it. Like you gotta just cast more people of color in videos and just make those videos. And honestly, don't give those racists a choice. If they want to watch a video, they should just watch the video. What are you watching the video for? Are you watching the video to get off, or are you watching the video to see a white person? Because that's a thought. That's a confusing situation. So I feel like the more that the companies themselves are like, hey, I'm just gonna start just casting. It doesn't matter, as long as they're good, as long as they're like reliable. I'm just gonna put these people in videos and not look at color. As long as they stop looking at color and just start casting normally, I would say, instead of being so nitpicky and making up these fake statistics and quotas, because they really are fake. Like, you're telling models that are famous, that have, oh my god, there's a moth in my room, it's so big. It's making a noise when it hits the wall. Sorry, oh my god, this is way too serious of a subject. I'm sorry. Anyway, what was I saying? You're telling models that have huge fan bases, that have been doing this for years, that are super reliable and beautiful, and that just so happen to be Asian or just so happen to be black, that they won't sell. Like, that's so dumb. Like, they're already famous. They already have a huge fan base. They already have more followers than some of the girls that you're casting. Yet you're not going to put them in a video and tell them that they won't sell.
So I am confused.
This doesn't make sense. It's very similar to when this video is definitely monetized. Oh my god, that bug. I'm sorry. It's very similar to when the statistics for most popular like categories come out for different like websites, and it'll be like girl or like lesbian will be like at the top. But then if you're a performer and you call up an agency and you're like, yeah, I'm kind of only into doing girl, they will fight you tooth and nail. And this is so inappropriate. This is something that we can make a whole other video about. But they will fight you tooth and nail, being like, oh, wouldn't you try it? What's your reasoning? Is it because you have a boyfriend? No, it's because I just want to do girl. Like, why is that an issue? Why do I have to tell you now my business? Because I chose to do girl. Like, that's what I want to do. And most of them will not take you on as a client if you decide to just be niche into like a girl category or something like that. And it's absolutely ridiculous and a lie, because like I said, these statistics come out and usually girl, lesbian is not like the like top 3 of searched and watched videos, and it's so dumb. Like, I literally can't. Just the excuses. They're just like ridiculous. I can't. I'm not gonna get into that. I can talk about that for like hours, and I won't get into it. So back on Toya's comment about the whole like interracial situation and stuff. First of all, equal pay, 100%. Everyone should be getting paid equally, or at least based off of like their popularity and like who they are. Obviously somebody that's very seasoned and very popular, that's like a household name in a way, is going to be getting paid more than some like newer girl or like a random girl, like, you know what I mean, or boy, like guy or girl. But when it comes to actual like race, should not be a factor in payment. Like I said, you should be judged off of your talent and like how reliable you are and how good you are in whatever scene you're in, and that is what you should be getting paid off of, how popular you are, not getting paid less or more because of the color of your skin. Now we talked about this on Twitter in a separate thread that I'm not even going to look into right now, and this was also something that was mentioned in the Zoom call that I put in the other video, and that is like race play and interracial even like being a category, even being around. Some people are for it, some people are against it. I'm going to tell you not both sides, but just mainly why I'm against it. And I'm not saying anybody is right or wrong. This is just my opinion and my feelings on the matter. And that is, look, we're not living in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, or even the early 90s anymore. We're not living in that time period. It's not and shouldn't be a taboo to be with somebody that of a mixed or of a different race than you. I feel like most people are dating people of a different race. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. When I look around, I see everybody with everybody. Of course you see a lot of like same race couples, but you also see a lot of just mixed couples, and it's not a weird thing. It's not a taboo anymore. We're not living in a time period where it's like a new fad. And I think that's where a lot of race play and the whole category of interracial came from, because all of a sudden now we're allowed to be with each other as races, and it's like, ooh, like interracial, like look at that sexy black girl and that white guy, or look at that sexy black guy and that white girl, like, you know what I mean? And it was a thing, it was new, it was something we haven't seen before, and it was exciting. And I feel like if we were back in the 60s and 70s, like, hell yeah, interracial porn should be a thing, because people need to see it, But for it to be 2020 and it's still being categorized as a taboo and it's still like a thing, it puts a bad taste in my mouth. I just don't feel like the more you segregate something, the more it's going to be segregated. I'll just leave it at that. The more you pull something out and make it not normal, it's never going to be normal, So, and not to go off on a tangent, but it's kind of like an American thing. Like, I forgot who said this. Oh, it's going to bother me now. In the Zoom meeting, though. Oh, man. Was it Lexington Steele? I think it was. He was like, it's not really a factor in, like, the UK. And I'm not saying the UK it doesn't have a race problem, because it does. But it doesn't, like, they don't necessarily cast kind of, like, based off of that. He was saying, I don't know, I'm just speaking from, like, what he said. So I don't know. In general, I just think it puts a bad taste in my mouth. It kind of just, like, separates it from, like, the norm. Like, why isn't it just normal? Like, why are two white people the norm? Like, that's just supremacy. That's all I can say. That's just the truth of it all. Like, so I don't believe that it should be a thing anymore. I did like, again in the Zoom meeting, what one of the models said about how it should just, instead of being like a taboo or something like that, it maybe can be like a side, like click the box category, like you want to see interracial and stuff. That I'm just kind of like, because then you can still be fetishized for that, but then can you really stop being fetishized? I don't know. I hate it all. I just don't like it. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. Feel free to have a different opinion or your own opinion. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. It's just personally how I feel about it. But yeah, I don't like it. I think it should just be like non-existent. And not to hang on Toya, but she wrote a couple of good things. So, eliminating sex trafficking. That is a big one. That is a big thing. That is just that's almost like saying eliminating murder or eliminating pedophiles or something. Like, when it comes down to it, all of those words I'm going to get demonetized for, every single one of them. When it comes down to it, sex trafficking is one of the many evils of this world, and it's something that is going to happen no matter, like, what we do, unfortunately. And I'm not really sure of how to fix that or what to do about that. I will say, in regards to the adult industry, that these sites that host videos, all the different hubs and tubes that host adult videos, need to do better in general, in a whole. They just need to do better. They need to do better checks. They need to do better checks with IDs and different things. There needs to be a better screening process. The fact that anyone can just upload CP videos or just forced videos in general, doesn't even have to be CP, to the internet, and even in some cases make it difficult for the people afterwards to take them down. There's been cases of people trying to get their videos of being forced and stuff where it's not their channel, but they're in the video and they're saying, that was me being taken advantage of. I want that taken down. And then the site puts them through all of this BS of how to take it down, and it sometimes not even taking it down. That's despicable. That's just, why? Like, why are you adding to the problem? Like, that's just horrible that these sites do that and get away with it, kind of, in a way. So eliminating sex trafficking, unfortunately, I don't know if we can eliminate it as a whole, but the adult industry can do way better when it comes to screening and eliminating it from that space. That's just fact. The next comment is by one of our favorite people on the planet, Miss Amber Lee. And she wrote, "I would love to see more tempered conversations. We all have such varied opinions, and that's so great, but we need to discuss stuff in order to see each other's sides and get resolutions." That's just fact. And that's what I was saying. When you're commenting down below, or even in your personal life, when you're just commenting on someone's Twitter or stating your opinion on someone's post or anything like that, or having a conversation face to face with somebody, we are not hive-minded. We're just not. And you can't expect somebody to have the same opinion as you, even if you give them all of the facts and you feel like you really put up a good defense debate on your side, and you're like, yeah, but how do you still not see it? It's unfortunate that we are not hive-minded in a way, but then it's not, because how are we going to learn and grow and actually come to a resolution? So what Amberly said is a bajillion% just needs to happen. We just need to be nicer to each other. We're human. We have opinions. We might not agree with each other, and that doesn't mean that we need to now be hateful or violent, or it just doesn't. If a person's opinion really deeply bothers you on a deep level that you can't shake, and it's making you feel that type of way, that just, unfortunately, that just might be a situation where you need to just take a step back. That person might not be worth it. And it's unfortunate because some of those people are at like the top and you feel like they can help, and they're stating something or being some type of way. But if you're going to go at them in a way where it's going to immediately put them on the defense, and you don't know how to have a calm conversation with them because your emotions are very like woven up into it, you might not be the right person to have that conversation. You might want to just leave it alone and hope that that person will meet somebody that can calmly explain to them where they have gone wrong or where their opinion is muddied, you know? But yeah, no, we all need to just know our limits and speak on things that we know about and feel strongly about, but do it in a respectful way where we're not immediately putting that person in defense mode. Because when you start going at somebody, they're going to close off, and they're not going to listen to you, and they're just going to defend themselves. Look at what J.K. Rowling's doing right now. Like, she is just digging herself deeper and deeper and deeper in a hole with the BS that she has said, and people are just coming at her, and she's sticking to her guns, and it's because she's getting everyone's mad at her, and she feels like she's right, so she's on the defense. She's not open or willing to learn or anything like that, because right now she just is like, no, I'm right. Like, look at all these like SJWs and people that are just like all upset, like look at these snow. No, you need to educate yourself. Like, you know what I mean? So hopefully somebody close to her or somebody can like actually educate her on these things. But yeah, if you're coming from a place of like an intense emotion, it might not be your place to talk to that person if you feel like you can't talk to them in like a calm, educational way. So yeah, no, Amberly. Also, check out Amberly's book. Go on her Twitter. I'll put her thing underneath, and she has an AVN Stars where she does like mentoring and fun stuff too, and lots of videos on branding. And she's just an amazing human, and definitely check her out if you don't know who she is. But I feel like a lot of you do know who she is, so she's great. So this next comment is from one of my fans, one of my biggest supporters. I love him dearly. His name is Josh, aka Dr. Booty. And let's read what he said. He said he'd personally like to a big percentage to those who have merchandise stores and content and stuff, instead of it going to companies taking such a big chunk of the money. He'd rather it go to us to get rid of the racism fetish, which we already talked about. Treat everyone equal. Yep. You should get the same exposure and pay, especially when it comes to being online. Definitely. That all really needs to change. So there's two things I want to talk about from here. And this video is probably going to be long, so I do apologize, but we have a lot to go through. Percentages. So this one's hard because I don't know what goes on the back end. And I had a pretty eye-opening experience, and I won't mention the site. They're still up and running that did this, but they were definitely gloating on the fact that they were making all this money and taking this big percent from the girls, and they were doing lots of inappropriate things and stuff, and kind of just treating the girls as like just badly. And you know what? Like this video if you want me to make a video on this, because this is a whole other story. I think that it really depends on the site. So I definitely feel like I'm okay with getting a lower percentage, like a 50% or making 60%, if that site itself is bringing me traffic and new people constantly. When I have to start just relying on my own fan base, I expect a bigger cut. If I'm bringing people to you and you're not bringing people to me, then I expect a bigger cut. So to each site is like their own situation, depending on like what they have and what they're like working with as far as like traffic and how they promote and everything. Like, are they promoting their models actively? Are they bringing in a bunch of new people and traffic and constantly improving their site and like doing stuff for us models? Then like, yeah, I don't mind making like 50-60%. It's the sites that just don't care and have bad traffic or have random traffic, because that could happen too, where you just get like a bunch of like weird people from like other countries. Even sometimes, like, I'm not saying that you not to cam with people from other countries, just like kind of like almost you feel like, where are they sourcing this traffic from kind of situation. And they're not helping, they're not improving, they're being rude. And then those companies that are taking big chunks, I feel like it shouldn't even be around anymore. But definitely when it comes down to it, working that out. But I'm not sure, again, how to fix that. I'm not sure how to fix any of these things. Again, we're just having an open conversation. But yeah, no, that's definitely a problem. And then he also said, this one's a big topic. This is something that has been heavy on my mind and my heart for a minute. And that is the, like I just said, but the way a site promotes their models. What do they have in place that promotes their models in a way, whether that be a cam score or like a contest placement. Like what is that? And look, I'm a full-time model on My Free Cams, but I'm gonna talk some shit about My Free Cams right now. They are just a mess. They are such a mess, and they have a lot going on. They own a lot of other sites. They own OnlyFans, so they kind of don't look for ways of improving the site itself. And I'm just gonna come out and say it. If you look at how they do cam scores and how they do the Miss MFC contest and how they do placement, and you look at who have been like the top 10 that have placed since, like, I think it goes all the way back to like 2006 or something like that. You're gonna see it right up on the site. There are none, and if there are like one or two, it's still not enough. There are no models of color. I don't think there's ever been a black model to win Miss MFC. Hi, so editing Noah here. It seems like Lexi Starr has won. I don't know her personally, so I don't know, this was what, 5 years ago now? But it seems like she did pretty well for quite a few months. I would love to get in contact with her. It doesn't seem like she's in the industry anymore though. This is 2013. But yeah, she seemed to win quite a few months, and from her picture at least, she looks like a performer of color. I mean, I could be completely wrong. She could just have like a dark tan, but it doesn't look like that. Again, I don't know who she is, but she's the only one still, like, only one. Do you see another girl? I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please do, because what the hell? And they don't look to fix it, and they don't see it as a problem because they're making money. I mean, a few years ago, they let a girl do like this video is monetized anyway, right? A Hitler show, and she won. Like, what? So I don't know. It's so problematic, the way that all goes about itself. I don't understand it. I really, really don't. And like I said, they're not looking at ways to fix it or do anything about it. Sometimes you will see like some of these sites that will notice they have like a weak spot in a way, and like, for instance, some sites have like weak spots where they'll be like, there's no BBW girls winning or something. That's just like a basic one. So you'll see them start promoting their BBW models more. And that's honestly like all I ask for from MFC is if they were to realize their problem and then like find a way to, I don't know, like promote better it's weird because I don't want it to be unfair in the sense where it's like, oh, we're just gonna put all the POC models at the top. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying, though that would be nice, but that's not what I'm saying. I don't think that is fair either. But I do feel like they need to sit down and come up with a way to like fix that and to see it as a problem, but I don't think they see it as a problem. So it would be nice to be treated equal when it comes to like different sites and stuff, and but I don't think that, I think that's just going to come along. I think that's going to have to happen from a customer and model point of view. I don't think a lot of these sites care enough to help with all of that. I think that what's going to happen is that if, like I was saying before, the moth. I'm going to write this video like featuring a scary moth. I'm upset. Okay. It's going to take these companies normalizing POC performers, and then from there, I feel like the customers in general will be less biased, and then you'll start seeing POC models rise to the top. I mean, that's the hope here, right? That's the goal here. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I do feel like, and I've said this in the Black Lives Matter video, that POC models 1,000,000% have to work harder and put in more hours than a lot of these other girls, and it's like the industry doesn't see us, and it gets very hard, and you feel very, very defeating when it comes to like working, when like you're sitting there and you're all dressed up and pretty and everything looks perfect, you're HD, you're crystal clear, and there are girls that are blurry and, you know what I mean, not working as hard, and they have like triple the amount of people that you have in your room, and they're getting tipped, and you're sitting there and you haven't been tipped for a whole hour, and you're like, okay, like, fuck, like, how do you not feel bad about yourself? You shouldn't, because it's not your fault, but that would definitely be something that I would wish more sites would look into remedying and just fixing. Alright, next one, because that's another tangent. Okay, so this next one is like a long one. Miss Vera, who is super sweet. I met her at AVN. Alright, she is like, hers is kind of long, so we're just going to read it all out. She goes, I want to see more organization. When I lived in LA, I was a community organizer and worked with coalitions and nonprofits to give political power back to the community. I love that people are passionate and protesting about what's going on, but we need strategic organization. I agree. People see the products of organization like protests, boycotts, marches, but most are unaware of the actual work that makes them real legislative and social change possible. We need clear, achievable goals, 100%. Coalitions of organizations and clear talking points, 100%. We talked about this also like in the Zoom meeting. We need something that people can look at and swallow and realize. If we're all over the place with our demands, for lack of a better word, then like people aren't going to know what to even do or give us or help us. We need something clear and digestible. She goes, I love that people are passionate and speaking up, but we need, I'm so sorry, that bug, man. But we need leaders. But we need leaders who have experience with leading organizations and community organizing to understand how successful movements work. There are specific strategies and processes that make social movements successful. I think in order to see the social change we want on the scale we want, we need to have clear, achievable goals, a well thought out plan, accomplishing them, and proper strategies, the way to get everyone on the same page. I 100% agree. And this kind of goes back to, like I was saying, is being open to other people's opinions and teaching people and not getting all of your like emotions tangled up with like what that person may or may not be saying or doing. Is that we have to be more clear. We have to, as hard as it is, take some of the emotion that we are feeling out of it so we can be more strategic, so we can come up with a list of demands and something that people who don't understand us can start to understand us with. So no, I 100% agree, and she should be a leader of something. Like, damn, like, I might have a job for Vera, now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, this is one of, like, the last ones we're going to go through for this video. I have some more comments. If you guys like this kind of, like, long format reading and digesting and talking, we can do more of these, I don't mind. She said, more representations of cam models when at award shows and conventions come around. Definitely. That would be amazing to just see more POC models and stuff on the billboards. And I remember the first year of AVN I went to, they had this what's called like a white party where like everyone wears white. And I was with a group of my friends. Most of them were Hispanic and black, and we were like hanging out. We were walking back from the smoke shop, and there was the big billboard that was advertising the white party. And I was like, are you going to, I said to one of my friends, I was like, are you going to the white party? And they were like, the white party? No? And I was like, why? He's like, look at that poster. Do we look like we belong there? And it made me sad, because I was just like, wow, is it literally a white party? Like, am I allowed, like, to go? Like, it's not funny, but, like, shit, like, it's, yeah, definitely more, and more, like, trophy girls, and just, like, less racist categories that give POC models a chance of actually taking home awards. I won't mention who, but I have a mainstream adult model friend. It's like, I'm trying to avoid the P word. And she has been doing this for such a long time, so many scenes. Like, she's so good, she's very popular, and she was so upset that, like, it's so hard for her to win any type of awards. Like, she barely wins anything, and she works so hard, and you would think that she's, like, tippity top, and in reality, it's, like, these award shows don't pay her no mind, and, like, don't give her attention when it comes to, like, her actual, like, her success. Like, it was really messed up, and she ended up pretty much leaving the industry. Like, she still does stuff, but she pretty much is, like, not a part of it anymore because of it, and it really sucks. Interview every model, however the video is edited and has representation, that there are barely any. Yeah, so she's talking about right here where you get interviewed on the red carpet, and then they just, like, edit you out, and then when you watch the video back, it's just, like, all of these, like, white adult models, and you're like, I thought we had a nice little interview, like, what happened? It just, again, makes you just feel, like, quite shitty when it comes down to it, because you're like, why am I being deleted? But yeah, she's talking about the billboards, the signs should have more POC and more fetish, 100%. Yeah, more categories, I just mentioned that. The algorithms for rotating featured models, 100%. Yeah, it needs to be random, so it definitely, like, that would be a really nice way of them fixing, like, the algorithm and, like, that whole concept of making it more randomized, where maybe have, like, the top 10 models at the top of the page, but then, like, anyone else underneath that should be, like, randomized and given a chance to get seen. I can't tell you how many times that I'll get a customer that comes into my room and they'll be like, ooh, are you new? I haven't seen you before. And I'm like, I'm so far from new. I'm not new at all. I'm like, no. Like, welcome to my room. Make sure you favorite me so you get notifications. Because, like, they don't see me. Because, like, I'll be, like, in the 5th row or in the middle or something. And, like, oh, my God. I don't even know. I don't even want to know how bad it is, in a way, for models that are, like, on, like, the 2nd page or on, like, the bottom. Like, they don't get any visibility, and then no wonder why these girls quit and then feel bad about themselves or feel like it was something that they did. Like, how are you ever supposed to feel secure doing this job if, like, you can't even afford to get the right lighting in your room because, like, you're at the bottom? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one wants to feel at the bottom of anything. Like, it definitely should be more randomized. Maybe, like, randomize it, like, every hour or something like that, and, like, that would be nice. That would be very nice. And they can still do things, for instance, like when it comes to like your actual cam score, like maybe girls with a better cam score, that's where they can push more traffic to. But in reality, if they're randomizing it and you're next to a girl that's getting pushed traffic to because she has a better score than you, but you're next to her on the page and you used to be like at the bottom or the middle, you might get people that trickle down from her room that will see you and be like, hi, like, you know what I mean? And that would be really cool. So yeah, no, definitely that would be awesome. I wish they would do something like that. More black models with tattoos and colored hair. That would be really cool. Do you guys realize that you barely see that? We're like told like not to get tattoos and stuff like that. I mean, most models in general are told not to get tattoos, but when it comes to like alternative models and all of that, like there are so many alternative adult models that are just white and Asian and mostly just Asian girls when it comes to Asians, because they're all fed. That's a whole nother thing that I can't even speak on because I am not Asian. It'd be actually kind of cool, any Asian cam models out there that want to talk about some of like the problems and racism and weird stuff that you face, it would be great to like, even if we had to do like a Zoom style where I like edit you next to me and have a nice conversation about it all, because that upsets me, and that's just not even like a thing that I'm in. Like, you know, that sometimes I'll see some of like what's going on with that type of racism, and I'm just like, damn, like I when I talk about POC, I'm talking about like all the colors except for white. Like if you're Asian, if you're Native American, if you're from India, if you're Brazilian, if you're Hispanic at all, if you're black, like all POC models need better respect and better representation, and like to be less fetishized. Like it's ridiculous. But yeah, no, definitely that'd be really cool to see like more black models with like pink hair and like tattoos and piercings. Like they exist, there's just not enough. Like, you know, so it's like that would be really awesome, or them getting casted more in like alternative roles and stuff like that. So I'm gonna end it there. Sorry this video is so long. I feel like we got into a lot. I would love to see lots of chat and questions and things in the comments. So please, please, please comment on anything. How are you feeling? Like, how does this make you feel? What changes do you want to see? What opinions do you have? And let's talk about it. If I get enough, then, or newer things and stuff, 100% we can make another video like this, that even if it's long, like, let's keep these open conversations going. I don't care if these videos get demonetized. I really don't, because I feel like they need to happen. They need to, as long as it doesn't get taken down, that's fine. Just, you know what I mean? I just feel like these things need to be put out into the world and maybe clicked on by people that don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Or don't have a full understanding. And to see that we have all of these problems and to be aware that these things exist. So 100%, let's get chatting. If you guys don't want to say things publicly, you can always hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. Put them like next to me, Instagram, Twitter. And yeah, reach out. I also have my email on my About Me section. Like, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. I would love to hear your thoughts and feelings on all of this. So I love you. Please stay safe. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Resources down below as usual. Places you can donate. Places you can call. Things you can do. Keep up the energy here, because it's good energy that we need. And yeah, I love you guys so much. So much. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. See you later. I love you. Goodbye.
Wearing a mask is sexy. Wearing a mask is hot. Wearing a mask makes your butt look better than doing a million squats. Wearing a mask is cute. Wearing a mask is cool. Wearing a mask is for people who did above average in school. I can't mask the feeling when you're wearing a mask. What turns me on is listening to scientific facts. A mask is the accessory to turn a 6 into a 10. 'Cause stopping viral spread makes me spread my legs, amen. Look how flexible I am.